Dwayne here, PhoenixTypewriter.com. You know, considering I bought this machine locally fairly cheap, but advertised and told it works perfect. It's just a little dirty and it needs a ribbon. So sure enough, it needs a ribbon. But there's multiple links off, including the one here, and the keys just stick like this up. I've already flushed some of them just to see if it was the keys sticking. And of course the link was bent over here. I repaired that. I repaired the bracket over here that had the wrong bracket. Somebody put the wrong part in there as far as I could tell. But now I notice the shift doesn't work. It's binding here. And this is supposed to be a fully functioning working machine, as you know, described, but it's not. So shift isn't working, but if I hit backspace it comes back. I actually know what that is. But you just gotta love the people who say their typewriters, everything's working. But you know, so many things are not working, it's not even funny. The backspace is generally, and when you have that type of problem, this backspace paw right here, which I'll engage the backspace right there, that piece gets caught underneath the shift. This whole mechanism moves with the shift up and down. That piece right there and wiggling gets underneath this piece here that lifts, and it binds right there. So if you move this paw out, it will unlock itself right there, and then it works. So if I hold this over just a little bit, it'll work fine. But if you leave it as is, it's going to bind up every time. Every time you use a shift, it's going to bind up. So there's a couple things you could do to this to solve this. One of them is get up here on the keyboard up here and make something to keep this key from coming up as high, right down here in this assembly. You put a little something to block it from coming up all the way. That would make an adjustment on that link, or that lever, or that link. Yeah, I guess we call it link. So, but I'm going to do something else. This rod right here runs all the way up to the backspace button. Let's see if I can find the button here somewhere. Right there. And I'm just going to put a kink in this rod, and that's going to cause this to reposition itself slightly over this way, like that, just a little bit. So all it takes is a little bit of forming of this rod right here. You can do that with a simple bender here. Let me find my simple bender, which I don't see. Come on, where are you? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so I'm just going to stick my bender on here, and I'm going to try to keep this rod's got a lot of clearance through this hole right here. I'm just going to try to put a bend in this. Maybe I'll hold it up. Hold it right here and put a bend in it right there. So I'm going to put a little kink in there. Like that right there. So it made a little kink. Go a little bit more. Get my finger in there. There we go. Okay, so that little dog leg right there, that should be enough to keep this out of position. So let's try the shift. There it is. And yet the backspace is still working just fine. That's one way to reposition that lever. The other one that I've done before also is move this whole assembly over a little bit. I flex this over, reform that over, but this adjustment works just fine. Put a little dog leg in here. It shouldn't bind anything up. Still got lots of clearance. Everything is good. And that fixes the shift backspace bind on these Smith Coronas. Alright, I will keep at this machine and see what else I can find wrong on this perfect working Smith Corona. Good day.